Hi, this is Shane with The Rational Trader. It is Tuesday the 15th. I didn't get a video out yesterday, but we'll take a quick look at that. It's been kind of a boring week actually so far. So oil down 7 ticks today and gold 0. I don't think there were actually even any trades in gold today. Let me see. Yeah, so here's the open. There's a nice move there, but we don't get any signals. And it peaks out pretty hard. This is a tough move to catch on the way back down. I would have liked to have gotten a signal right there. That would have been sweet. But nothing for me, unfortunately. All right, and then in oil, let's see here. So there's the open. There's decent movement in this market. The problem here is that when you're breaking above the value area high, and then you gotta find a low volume node. So when you're making new highs, it's pretty dangerous. So we pull back to here. Let's see, nothing there, and then it looks like it's just ugly there, isn't it? Another nice move right there. It's interesting, you know, we're looking here. All right, but you see that striping? We're outside the value area. So now we look at these waves, and a long looks dangerous because of how these tops are all very close to each other. So we wouldn't have taken a long there anyway, or a short, in fact, because the bottom is the same way. You have to break out of that before you'll do anything. Let's see here. Get back to the value area and start looking. And get short there and take a loss, and I think that's probably it. Yeah, I like the way we stay out of trouble on that grind right there. There is something a little interesting about this trade. The signal we get on that bar. Okay, so it's a short, and the bar is closing up. So we want to see a down bar within the next two bars. You'll notice the green line. The green dashed line is the point of control. It's this line right here, right all here. So when the signal fires, we're well above the point of control, and the thinking is that you're going to move back to the point of control, right? You're at the edge, you're going to move back to the point of control. In this case, the next bar, there's been enough trading up here. You can see how it's been consolidating sideways that this becomes the point of control actually when that bar closes, and then we enter. Now, I don't like entering at the point when you're at the point of control because the market will often thrash kind of like you see it. All right. So a refinement to think about is altering the logic so that regardless of where the signal occurred, you don't actually do an entry if the entry bar is at the point of control. It's the logic is looking just at where is the point of control at the signal bar, not at the entry bar. I'm hesitant to make that change without more data. I've seen it where the market, that's a great trade. I've also seen this where you get whacked. So it is what it is. Not enough data to make a decision one way or the other. Okay, and then let's see. You'll notice there's no yen down here. That's because well, let's talk about the euro. The euro first, and then we'll get to the yen. So the euro is undergoing a rebuild because the chart it's not quite fast enough to give me enough signals to find commonality in over time to create a conservative set of behaviors. And so it's a lot of work to actually do this. We moved it from a 7-tick range bar to a 5-tick range bar. So we made it faster. That's because we want more signals. And then we're going to let the machine sort through the signals. And so I spent a good chunk of this weekend converting this, and now we're taking a look. We're just looking at it. We're not running it. You'll notice that ATG, which is it's this here, automated trading is not turned on. Okay, we're just looking to see are there any obvious red flags? All right, it looks okay to me actually. These, you're getting signals there and there and there. That all looks pretty good to me. And the thing to do now is that I've got some data here over the last couple of days to look at. Is okay. Now we need to do some analysis on what behaviors are do we see that repeat over time, and that's a fairly heavy lift analysis. But to do it now, I have to build a model that only has data through like through June, and then we'll test on July through now, or through September, and we'll test through October through now. I got to think about which one of those I want to do. And then we'll come up with that set of behaviors, which we call codes or action codes, and then we need to sim that to make sure. This is a fairly big change, so we definitely need to sim it. While I was working through this, I noticed an error that I thought probably applied to the yen as well, and when I investigated it, it did. So I stopped the yen, and I rebuilt that model. Not as big a job because it's already, I didn't have to change I wasn't changing things like range bar heights. But that analysis has to get redone. And if you recall from videos last week and the week before, we were talking about the different analytical processes that we're applying. And it's still not clear to me if what I like is breaking it up into 3 and 4 week buckets and looking for behaviors that you see in each of those buckets. These markets that have less volume really means less movement, and so I get there's less to work with in terms of finding specific behaviors that repeat. So if you look at oil here, oil's got 600,000 contracts. Gold has 230. 6E, okay, that's okay, 224. But that's 1/3 oil. All right. And then 6J, half of 6E. So this is, as we get to markets that have lower volume, I think we need, I'm discovering that we need a different analytical process to find a trading plan, a set of behaviors that is, I don't want to say consistent, that's the wrong word, that you see often enough to make it worth your time to trade that market. All right. And so I'm struggling a little bit with like with 6E, I needed to make it faster. And so now we'll see. There's a lot of work to be done still on that analytical process. I'd like to lock that down because it's currently manual, which means, and it's a lot of work. And so if I could come up with a process that I like and I'm confident in, then I can code that and have do it much quicker than the long involved process that it is right now. You also could just run it more often then and compare. What does this week's analysis show as compared to last week? The other thing to do is you can actually apply machine learning algorithms to that kind of analysis. So I've been doing that as well. It's more in the lines of a basic research project. So when I get something that's useful, I will we'll actually have a webinar about that with the members. All right, that is it for today. I will see you tomorrow. So far, again, this week's just kind of boring this week so far. Actually, let me bring this up here. I didn't do that. Hold on. Trade log. And we want, let's just look at oil here. CLG9. Period. Daily. So, I guess yesterday was 5 ticks. I thought it was 1 tick. My mistake. So yesterday down 5 ticks. Today down 7. And that is it for the week so far. Pretty quiet week for me. All right. Take care.